Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Off the Board. And in Off the Board, I and a few of my scrappy friends pull one of our favorite Pinterest pins that we've been meaning to lift, and we take it off the board and bring it to life with, paper and glue and Distress Oxides and stickers and all kinds of other goodies. This is the pin that I've chosen for today. It's a Hip Kit Club design team project by Jana McCarthy, and I absolutely love it. It's filled with lots of really cool Maggie Holmes embellishments, and I, one of these days, may end up doing a Maggie Holmes version of it, but I have in my Mind the Scrap April kit and my latest Secret Not Secret kit, lots of Vicki Boutin's Let's Wander. And so I thought I would use that, even though it doesn't necessarily match the theme of my photos. My main photo is this black and white photo of my son and his 3 kids and his former stepdaughter, Allie. These are my 4 grandkids. She's been my grandkid since 2006, and she still is. And this was my husband's birthday 5 years ago, April 20th in 2015. And that morning, James, Barrett, and Katie ran in a one of those obstacle runs called the Warrior Dash. And while they did that, Allie and Ava stayed with us, and we took them to meet. We all met at Papacito's, which is John's very favorite restaurant. And of course, this is a birthday, John's birthday page, and John's not in the picture. So go figure. Later, inside the restaurant, Barrett gave his helmet to Ava, who was 6, I guess, at the time. She's 11 now, so she was 6 then. And we took what is absolutely my very favorite photo of her ever. She has the helmet on crooked, and she's got kind of a little toothless grin there. Here she's kind of mugging for the camera, being silly, but here you get that full-on Ava smile. So I'm gonna use this here. It kind of stands out since the other's black and white. In any case, and here's my journaling. So I'm gonna kind of arrange it somewhat like this and this on the page. You'll notice on here that there's a very light coating of like watercolor or some mixed media on the back, and then someone has dragged some texture paste through a dotty stencil, and so it gives those nice dots. I'm going to have dots, but what I've done is I've fussy cut kind of some lines through a couple pieces of acrylic dots. I forget which collection that came from. It came in the Mind the Scrap kit for April, and I've used it, and I don't have the branding strip still on it, so I've just got pieces. So those are gonna go kind of in the same placement like this and like this, with the photo cluster over it. But first, I want to do my light mixed media underneath it. And I've got a brush. First, let me talk about this paper. This was also from the Mind the Scrap kit, and I got 2 sheets of it, and I've used this side of it already. I absolutely love this kind of watercolory ledger paper. So I'm using the other side, which is sort of like an antique tile design. And it is from the Mind the Scrap kit. It's part of Heidi Swapp's Art Walk collection, and it's called Escape. And it's just a beautiful sheet of paper that I wish I had about 50 of, because they're both such versatile backgrounds. You could use them over and over and no one would tell. You could do very different types of layouts on them. Okay, so this is not going to take too long. I'm going to go with my Tim Holtz Distress brush to spread this, and I'm just going to kind of sweep it on lightly at first and kind of build up. I don't really want it to stand out too much, but I do kind of like the way that it's, it actually kind of brings out the pattern in the tile. I'm gonna kind of put it in at a diagonal like this, so that the dotty parts kind of go over it. And I'm going to also, I'm going to have a kind of a horizontal element here, and I want bits of the color to show behind my horizontal elements. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do there. So that was easy peasy, and I'll worry about that later. Let me now, I've picked the whole paper has kind of a full color spectrum from warm colors down to cool colors. And I've cut it in half, and then I've turned these, the redder sides and the bluer sides to the center. And then I'll let it kind of splay out. There's a little bit of yellow and green and orange here, and here there's a little bit of green and aqua there. So I'm just gonna kind of glue those down by the straight part, because I know that part is gonna get covered up by the photo cluster. And then the rest of this can kind of stay as it is. Let me get this here. Okay, that should work. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put my photo cluster in, and then we're going to start going through the embellishments I have to see what should go where. Actually, I don't want to do that before I do this. I want to lay this, I'm laying this branding strip down horizontally, not specifically to add any color or a design element, but it kind of, in a way, is a guide. It's going to mark the center, and I've actually laid it on there crooked, so that's not a very good, it's not going to do a good job of fulfilling its duties. So like I said, I kind of don't expect a whole lot of that to show. As you notice here, the photo is kind of a little to the right, and there are a few elements here, and then others extend. It almost extends across horizontally. So I'm going to try to do something like that. I want to add a little bit of color and a sentiment somewhere along here. Sometimes all you need is a weekend and a good idea. And I thought that might be appropriate. But I have some washi tape that I thought I might add to that horizontal element. And it's also from Let's Wander, and it has what I call the rainbow chevrons. And I'm gonna kind of do a piece right here and kind of tear that, and I'll do another piece up here. And I'll tear that. Okay, that looks good. And then if I work the photo clusters right, I'll be able to use this as well. Okay, so this has been glued up. I'm going to put it a little to the right of center, kind of right underneath these. What's happened there, though, is I've covered up the red. Let me put it a little bit so that these red things show. And I may end up covering those. Let me push that down with this postcard. And I've got this on foam too. Let me get this here. Kind of gonna do that. So that is propped up a bit, and I can use some smaller embellishments around there, some stickers or something. Okay, get that on there. I have a strip of journaling. Here we go. And I kind of want it maybe joined up to that. So there's nothing all that interesting going on there, so I don't mind covering that up. I've got I had some, let's see if I can do that. And these are all, this is actually some of this paper here was an embellishment, it's kind of a tag, and I've used that as a matting picture. And I'm using that beautiful star paper on the star paper side. I've used actually both sides of it because I do have another sheet of that. Otherwise, okay, this, let me cut this. I don't have is a weekend and a good idea. I'll put this here, and I'm actually going to prop that up on some foam. Let me get a very, very thin strip of foam here. And once I get that on there, it'll be a matter of just kind of dry fitting some embellishments and seeing what works best. So hopefully that won't take too much time. And then I'm going to cover everything up and do some ink splatters kind of at the end because I want them to show. Let's see. Okay, got that. Let me slide that on. I should have done this ahead of time, but I really didn't know how it would be placed. So I didn't know if I was going to cut it or not, and I didn't know where it was going to be able to go. I kind of thought maybe it would have to go on one of those lines, and it may. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it there, and then I'll embellish around it. And if something covers it up along the way, covers up some of the words, I think the sentiment will be readable or understandable. So I'm gonna, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay, here we go. Okay, that works. Now, since the Vicki Boutin ephemera are so large, I thought I'd select those pieces first. Actually, let me do my title. That might have been appropriate right here. Maybe something like that. I think that works for me. I will get a couple of larger foam dots. That's another thing that I really need to put on there. I'm going to put it at an angle there, and then silly will be at a slightly different angle, just to make it look more casual and kind of scribbled there. These are from the Mind the Scrap kit. I think they're part of a Cocoa Vanilla collection. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you which one right now. So that's the title. And of course, I've covered up those red dots that I was trying to preserve. And that was just because the color photo has that bright red helmet element in it. Okay, what else have I got? Let me, something that is not Vicki Boutin. There's a really cute little collection of stamps here, but something that's not Vicki Boutin's are these Amy Tangerine envelopes, and I thought I might try to use one, but the colors don't quite work there. So I'm going to pull this center stamp here that says Your Journey. And of course I'm getting all kinds of little circly bits all over the page. And I like that just kind of right there. I said I was going to start using the big things first and then filling in with the small things, but I didn't do that. Now, since that these photos were taken at a restaurant, the fork, knife, and spoon that says Bon Appetit kind of makes sense. And so I thought I'd put this, hang this off the edge of that journaling strip. I'll prop it up on a pop dot down below and see if that's enough of a prop. That'll work. Okay, now let's get some pretty stuff back there. Again, looking at let me do a chipboard sticker from here. I like the camera with the strap. So it's not lifting off quite as easily as I'd like. Okay, here I think that can go there. I don't want to obscure alligator too much. So again, I'll prop that up with a foam dot and let it adhere to the photograph over on this side. Let's see, here and then at an angle so I don't, okay, there we go. Now, I've got this little kind of circly arrow, and I thought it might be cute right there. And I'm just gonna, since it is chipboard, I'll just go ahead and leave it there. I have a really beautiful flower cluster that I kind of, let's see if there's a sticker. Here's a, okay. I like this. Underneath the original, there's some, this kind of curlicue that's upside down. And I remember that sticker. It's a puffy sticker, I think, from Maggie Holmes. But I thought this might work well. And if I prop it up with a small pop dot and kind of let it also overlap that sentiment strip, it would give it some dimension. So I hate having to do that on camera. I need if they have sous chefs, couldn't they also have sous scrappers? Somebody who sits alongside you and peels the backing off of your foam dots. I'm thinking that could be a job. That could be a task. Let's see. Okay, let's go with this flower cluster, and let's put it kind of on the side that you wouldn't necessarily expect it to be. This is not an interesting part of the photo, this tree outside the window of the restaurant there. So I'll do that, and I will use another pop dot, so more fun seeing me peel that. Kind of put that right there so it stays up. And there's a bicycle I kind of liked, and I fussy cut this globe from this cut apart card, and I thought maybe I could use it here. If I do it this way, you see the stand, and yet it still is kind of overlapping those matting layers. So I'll just do that and let it kind of lean down. There's a Let's Eat sticker, but we've already used the Bon Appetit. Here's a smaller bicycle. I kind of like that idea. I'm going to prop up the wheels. And this, of course, is going to have a completely different feel, I think, from the original. But the things that I liked about it, which were the variety and kind of clustering, the heavy clustering of embellishments around the photo, with lots of fun elements that kind of reflect the fun that the kids are having in the photo. I thought I think this will kind of fulfill that feeling. It'll kind of portray that feeling. Okay, now I have a couple of, there's a Wild Adventure. I like that, and that would be good to put. Let's see if I have any other tabs. There's Ooh, I'm gonna go there. There's Ooh, I'm gonna do that. Let's see how that might work. That would completely cover up those layers. It's a little bit wider there than I want it to be. I have a little die cut banner that is similar to this one that says Celebrate Today, and I thought I could use it maybe down here, propped up over there with a short Ah, okay, with a short little saying on it. So I've got this little one that says pit stop, and it's perfect because that's kind of what it was. Okay, and now I think if you can see the mess I'm making, I apologize. If you can't, I'm glad. I'm gonna do this, and I'll kind of slide it under the fork and knife. Okay, that works. Actually, you know what I think I'm gonna do is get a pen, and I'm going to outline that just to make it stand out a little bit more. When I die cut this, that particular die leaves a little impression that almost embosses the banner. And I don't want to follow that exactly. I'm kind of using it as a guideline, but not happy with that. I may have to cover those things up. I'm trying to add some sort of, to make it look folded, some sort of dimension there. So having screwed that up, let's put a star there, and I'll put a different kind of embellishment. There's a little circle-y circle here that can go here, and then I'll put another one of those, another type of chipboard embellishment. I just tore the adhesive off, but I'm going to kind of stick it down here to make that something of a visual triangle there. Okay, I have a selection of arrows. I kind of like this one that has the map on it, and because it's chipboard, it may not stay fully adhered. So I'm going to overlap the washi tape with the gold part and let the map overlap the tile. Let's see if I can. Here's a treat yourself sticker that's kind of a soda pop look, and since they're kids in a restaurant, I'm guessing that one or more soda pops might have been ordered on that visit. So I'll do this and let that kind of stick to there. Where else do I need something? It seems like I could use something maybe here and here, kind of coming out there. I've got a stamp here, another stamp that might be nice. Right there, and just kind of flat, and I may layer something over that. Some more flowers. I don't have a lot of pink here. There's certainly no pink in the photographs, but I kind of like these little pink flowers, so I'm going to use them. And I'll kind of make them part of this cluster up here. here. And I think there's a circular element. I saw one here. This says here and now. I kind of like the here. Maybe going there. Photo op, is that a cute, would that be cute? And if so, where? I'm gonna do a photo op here. Kind of. I will put it up on a dot and overlap that circle-y here. Okay, that works there. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to do. I like this little tab that says heck yes. And I think it's the right color to go kind of right there, overlapping the outline of the photo there. Okay, I think I'm done. I have the journaling in there. I've got the date. I've got everything except the ink splotches. Okay, so now let me get my mask. I'm actually going to make a mask out of this and kind of lay it there. And I'll pull some Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine. I'm going to do, let me get some of these things out of the way. I don't want to pre-splatter any of my embellishments. Okay, I'll kind of go off this way. And a little bit there. And if I get any on those leaves, that's fine. I've got a backing, a pop dot backing right here, and that's gonna smear my ink. Ugh, I hate that. I hate those little things. And they end up all over. Okay, so I've got that. I believe that in the original there are a couple different colors, and there's so much black in the embellishments there. I think a few black splatters might look nice with that gold. So I'm gonna do that. Okay. I think I'm done. I may add something that has my handwriting on it. This horizontal piece actually does show a lot more than I thought it would. I thought about maybe building some embellishments out here, but I think that would take away from the arrow and the camera. What I may do is cut, speaking of taking away from the camera, is cut that little piece. That's just kind of an accent paper scrap piece to go beside that photo, and I really don't want to obscure the camera that much. So here we are. We'll look at the original again. Very cute carnival type photo and embellishments. And here I've got a warrior dash run, kids running all over the place, jumping over, leaping over fire and doing monkey bars and things like that with their crazy dad. So Silly is a perfect title, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my version of this come together. And let me see if I have well, here's my trusty little remote. We'll see if it works.